Good morning, FlossTube. My name is Leann, and I am leann.stitches here on YouTube and on Instagram, and this is my 13th FlossTube. Today is Monday, May 31st, 2021, and it is Memorial Day here in the United States, where we honor those who gave their lives for our freedom. Mostly we celebrate with barbecues and friends and family. So yeah, today I'll be celebrating with a FlossTube video. And we have some plans with some friends later on this evening. Growing up in San Diego, there was definitely a lot of military around, and we now live in a very military town. The town next to us is Millington, Tennessee, and it is the only inland naval base in the entire country. It was built after Pearl Harbor when they realized that they needed something that wasn't on the coast. It's not as active as it used to be, but we still have a lot of friends and people that we go to church with who are military members. So we definitely are thankful every day for those who paid the ultimate sacrifice for our freedom. So if you are a service member or the family of a service member, and especially if you're the family of a service member who gave the ultimate sacrifice, I thank you. Yeah, so FlossTube. This is my channel mostly about cross stitch, if you're unfamiliar with the FlossTube world. And I like to do a lot of full coverage, a lot of big projects, and I actually have some comments about that later. And yeah, so it's been about 2.5 weeks since my last FlossTube. I'm trying super hard to film more regularly again. Spring and summer and gardening and good weather have definitely foiled a lot of my cross stitching lately. And right now I am in the middle of a pretty large model stitch, and it's taking up a lot of my time. So I don't have a lot to show on top of not having a lot to show, but I do have a good bit to show you today. And I know that I will not be able to film next weekend. So I wanted to make sure to get something in before another month passed by and before I forgot how to do this, because already feeling awkward. So let's get to the stitching, and maybe that'll help me out a little bit. The first thing I had to show you, as always, is Marvel Heroes. This is my main focus piece for the year. It is by Popular Cross Stitch on Etsy. And I started a stitch along, or a SAL, at the beginning of this year called the Superhero Saturday SAL. I just use that hashtag on Instagram, and so I try to work on this piece every Saturday, and then in addition to that, I try to work on it 3 to 5 other days of the week, because I do have a large goal on this piece. I'm trying to finish it by next year to give to my husband. I would love to give it to him by his birthday, but I have a feeling it's going to be more of a Christmas present next year. But the last couple of weeks I fell down on this hard, and part of it is my model stitching. I'm going to blame that, but part of it is just, I just think I needed a break. It's very intense, very confetti. That's the word I was looking for. Confetti. It's very confetti heavy. So here's where I'm at. I couldn't honestly tell you where I worked because I'm pretty much just working all over. What I've been doing is I've been picking a color up here. Oh, and excuse my hands. I was trying to fix my printer earlier and I got ink all over them. So I just pick the next color up here, wherever the next empty stitch is, and I have been doing extreme cross country. Well, I guess it's not extreme cross country, it's cross country by page. So I'm trying to finish the entire color. So I'm really into some confetti heavy colors right now. So, you know, I pick a color and I have like 18 stitches or 30 stitches, and it's just all over the entire page. So I know I filled in this guy's shoulders quite a bit. But other than that, it's really just everywhere. I did fill in some of this guy who I think I mentioned last time that he is on fire, and I really didn't think I'd be working on him that much, but I did fill in quite a bit of him. So yeah, that's my progress this week, or the last 2 weeks. It was really only about 800 stitches, which normally I try for 1,000 stitches a week. So you can see how I really haven't been working on that much. The next piece I have to show you is Words to Live By. Sal by Tiny Modernist. Sal means stitch along. And this was one of my mania focuses this year because I started it during the last mania. I think it was actually the first or second project that I started. I think it was the second. And I really haven't worked on it that much for no good reason. I really enjoy stitching on it. So I don't know. So my goal for mania for this piece was to finish a block, and I did. I think I showed it to you last time and I had finished about half of it. So I finished it out. Oh, and there it is. If you can dream it, you can do it. This is on 32 count Belfast linen that I dyed myself. It's a piece that I dyed when I was learning how to dye fabric. So you can kind of see there's lots of interesting splotches and all kinds of weird modeling. And the original pattern was done on black. And so I didn't want black. I didn't want to stitch on black, especially on a linen. This is when I was still fairly a beginner. So I got it as dark gray as I could with the dye I was working with. Again, I was just learning. So some of these colors don't pop the way that they do off of the original, and it kind of bums me out, but I still really like it. So I thought about, I'm going to get into more of this later, I think. I always say that, and then, you know, I start looking at how long I've been talking and I say, oh, I should wrap up. So then I don't talk about it and I just leave you hanging. So one of the things I've been thinking a lot about is the fact that I do have so many projects that are so big that I never really feel like I finish anything. And I know a lot of people who do full coverage talk about page finishes as mini finishes, and it's a fun little celebration, but it's not the same thing as finishing an entire project. So I've really been thinking a lot about smaller projects and things that I can work on like once a month and feel like I got a finish in. And additionally, if you've been watching me for a little bit, you know that I'm doing no new starts this year, which I am seriously struggling with this month, seriously struggling with. Not necessarily that I want to start all the things, because I just want to buy all the things and think about starting all the things and plan starting all the things. So that's been on my mind a lot lately about, you know, little projects. And when I was stitching on this, I think I stitched on it last weekend. And in the middle of this craving these smaller projects, I'm sitting here looking at this and I'm like, you know, this was a SAL, which means that one of these blocks was released every month, which is exactly what I've been thinking about and craving and wanting. So why am I not taking advantage of the fact that this is a block a month? And just because I have the whole pattern doesn't mean I can't treat it like I just get a piece of the pattern every month and try to work on it like that. So I'm thinking about that when I'm thinking about my plans for next month. I don't have a huge goal on this for this month. I think my goal was to finish a row. And I think I talked about this last time. I don't know if it was to finish the top row, which I did by just finishing that block. And that's the only block I've done this year. So I can't imagine when I was setting my goals, because I tend to set very optimistic goals. I want to believe that I thought I would finish this second row, which presents a problem because I threw the thing down too far. But there is a center block that goes, there's 4 rows like this. And the center block that goes right here spans 2 rows. So I don't really know how I would do that. So I don't really know what I was thinking when I set the goal, but now I'm thinking of changing that goal. We'll see. Time will tell. The next project I worked on was Halloween Quaker. And if you notice, there's a project missing from my usual start, and that is Beauty and the Beast, because it's finished. And I will talk more about that later. I really will. So this is now my oldest whip. And at the very end of my last video, I asked, you know, I was on the verge of finishing Beauty and the Beast, and I knew that this was going to be my oldest whip once I finished Beauty and the Beast, because technically Marvel is my next oldest whip, but for the purpose of Magical Stitches, I use that for my full coverage battle. So it gets taken out of the running for the oldest whip. So Halloween Quaker becomes it. I started it last February. No, March 6th of 2020. And so what I've been doing with Beauty and the Beast, because it was a focus piece for the year, I knew I wanted to finish it by May to give to Genevieve for her birthday in June. I was using the weekly challenges of Magical Stitches to take advantage of the fact that penalty stitches are to be stitched on your oldest whip. And so sometimes it would fit the prompts and I would go ahead and use it as it fit the prompts. But most of the time I would just write penalty stitches, and I did about 1,000 stitches a week on it. So now that that is finished, Halloween Quaker becomes my next oldest whip, which whip, if I didn't say so, means work in progress. And I didn't really have a big goal on this year. I think I wanted a page finish or something like that, maybe 5,000 stitches or 7,500 stitches. It wasn't a huge goal because I originally thought that when I was setting my goals that this was an 8-page project, and it turns out it's only 6 pages. So I am rambling big time. Basically what I asked at the end of my video was, because I don't have a big goal on this piece, should I go ahead and replace it as my oldest whip and just try to get progress on it and try to go for a finish, because I have been craving that. I've only finished 3 or 4 projects so far this year, and I really don't have a lot that are close to a finish that I think in the next 6 months or so, I'll be able to bring that to completion. So do I adjust that goal and say, I'm just going to focus on this, even though it wasn't going to be a focus, or do I do Magical Stitches more like it's meant to be done with the weekly prompts, kind of choosing my projects for me. And because it was at the very end of my video, and I had a long video last time, I don't know if a lot of people watched it. I did get a couple of comments, and most people seem to say, do it, just focus on it. And one person, and I didn't write down your name, so I'm really sorry, but I really liked what you had to say about, if I do focus on it, because it's not that far off from a finish, I'm a little over halfway done, I might have it finished for Halloween, and that would be really cool to get it framed up and put up for Halloween. So I decided to go for it. For now, I may change my mind, because that's what I do. So here is Halloween Quaker. I do have it in the Q-snap because I've been actively working on it, and I had a page finish. So the page goes right through these P's and comes up here and goes this way. I don't really know where it ends. Oh, it ends right here, up here, and then it actually cuts through the ghost and the pumpkin somewhere over here. So I did go a little bit further down because I really wanted to finish the Halloween, and I wanted to get that little witch done. And I've been trying not to cut motifs off in the middle, even though it's a page finish, because I'm worried about that line from different tensions. So I went ahead and finished the outline of this motif, and I finished the ghost and the words and all of that. So yeah, I was really excited to get that done. I did about, I didn't write down how many stitches I did, but I did do that page finish. Oh, about 1,000, because, you know, the weekly tasks, 1,000 stitches. Yeah. So I probably did about 1,000 stitches on this. And I'm not sure what I'm going to do next, if I'm going to finish out this and kind of, there's one more page over here and there's 2 partial pages down here. So I don't know if I'm going to go for that other full page, or if I'm going to go down here and do a partial page, because there's some cool motifs up here, but, I kind of dig these birds and they keep going. I don't know. And there's also, there's like some cool witches boots down here. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I haven't decided that, but I think I am going to keep working on this next week and try to get another 1,000 stitches in and just see how it goes. The next one I have to show you is Dark Voyager. And this is a piece of artwork that my son found online, and then I charted it using Stitch Fiddle. So yeah, it's a character from, not Minecraft, Fortnite. It's a Fortnite character, and he's obsessed with Fortnite. So this was supposed to be one of my mini focuses this year, and my goal was 21,000 stitches on it, with a goal to finish it next year and give it to him probably for Christmas, because his birthday's in March. So there's no way I'm getting that done. It's 90,000 stitches total. And I really haven't worked on it that much this year. And it's super easy stitching. It's really fast because it is very illustration-like. And so it's lots of large blocks of stitches. So I used this to defeat a monster in magical stitches for the monthly tasks. And that's where I'm at. And I am just working this blue right here. You can kind of see where I'm zigzagging it because it gets really thick down here. And it actually, here's the full, this is going to be the full size, give or take 3 inches at the bottom. And this blue comes like all the way down. I think I have like 7,000 stitches left of blue to do. And I'm not saying I'm going to do all that blue, but it's kind of just making for easy stitching when I want to stitch, but I don't want something complicated, and I have something like a 1,500 stitch monthly task that I can focus on. It's kind of fun, and so I need to pull that out a little more often. The last piece that I worked on is the Addams Family, and again, this is not a full picture, it's just the only one. It was the one that they gave with the pattern when he, Just Stitch Design is the designer. And this is the one when he gave out the final pattern from the Sal. This is what came with it. So that's the only one I have to print out. If you go to my Instagram, I posted a picture last night that has a little bit more of it. It doesn't have this chimney or this tree, but it has like the huge mausoleum that I keep talking about that goes right there. And it has more of these rooms completed. So you can see a little bit more of the pattern with that photo. But I used this to defeat a monster. It was one of the advanced monsters or whatever they're called. And it was 1,500 stitches. So I had put 700 and something stitches on it earlier this month. And I wanted to finish that monster. And if you remember from a couple floss tubes ago, I was debating on where I wanted to go because my goal on this piece is to finish the second floor. But the mausoleum, because it was some pretty easy stitching, was really looking attractive to me, but it really wasn't part of the second floor. And I decided to go for the second floor. So I pretty much only did this section in here last night. And it went a lot faster. I'm actually really happy that I decided to go with it because doing these little roof pieces actually went really fast. So yeah, it was fun. And I did about 800 stitches on that yesterday. Really just last night sitting and watching Supernatural with my husband. We've never watched it before, and we started binge watching it, I don't know, a month or so ago, 2 months ago. I don't know. There's 15 seasons, which kind of makes it nice because if you didn't know that there were 15 seasons and you were watching it as it went, I could see how it would be really angsty. But since we know that there are 15 seasons and I think we just finished season 8, it's kind of like, he's going to be fine because there's 7 more seasons. So I don't like a lot of angsty TV. There's enough angst in real life I like to enjoy. So yeah, it's been really fun. It's definitely my type of show. And I don't know why we held off on watching it for so long because it's really been fun. And it's one of those ones that I can tune in and out of and not miss too much. So that's been good. So yeah, I did have a finish, Beauty and the Beast. I have absolutely nothing to show you. If I knew how to edit in a photo, I would do that right now and show you the finished photo. But I immediately took it to the framer to get framed because Genevieve's birthday is June 21st. And I had budgeted about a month for framing. And so on the kids' last day of school on Wednesday, I picked them up because it was only a half day. We drove down to Memphis. we went to the framer and picked out the mats and all that. And because it's such a long piece, it really had to be custom framed. So I figured why not go for it and get something really nice. So we did that, and then the kids always get a treat on the last day of school. So we went our favorite donut place in Memphis that we found out about on Food Network is actually right around the corner from the framer. So we went and got donuts, and then we went and did one other thing. I don't remember what it is. And then we went to lunch, and yeah. Oh, we went to Target because I needed to pick something up at Target, and we don't have one up here where we live. So yeah, we made a whole day of it, a whole afternoon of it, and it was a lot of fun. And then it's going to be ready. He said 2.5 to 3 weeks. So I've got another 2 weeks or so before I can go pick it up, and it'll be ready just in time for her birthday. I'm so excited. And so I'll show it to you all framed and ready to go when I get it back. May wrap up. I worked on 8 pieces this month. I did 2,600 stitches on Beauty and the Beast to finish it. I only did about 2,000 stitches on Marvel. I've done 1,000 stitches on Halloween Quaker, 1,500 stitches on Addams Family, 1,200 stitches on Words to Live By. I did 1,000 stitches on the Frankenstein Sal by Stitching Book Club for a finish. So that's 2 finishes I got this month. I did 1,000 stitches on Dark Voyager, and I've done about 7,000 stitches on my model stitching. So I didn't add all that up, but I think it's about 16,000 stitches-ish for the month, which is a pretty good month for me, I think. At the beginning of the month when I was doing full coverage bingo and all those crazy challenges, I was doing like 25, 30,000 stitches, but the weather wasn't nice and I didn't want to go outside and play. So it made it a lot easier to sit at home and stitch. And I also wasn't doing any model stitching, so I was able to really make progress on my whips, and I was all fired up for all of the new challenges and for the No New Starts challenges, and I was doing all of those tasks and trying to keep up with it all, and I got tired, and so I stopped, and I've really just been keeping up with Magical Stitches. I haven't kept up with Whip Go. I have a whole list of all the Whip Go calls that I haven't finished my monthly goals for. So when it comes to plans, that's kind of what I'm thinking, is I want to get a little bit back into some of those games and groups. Obviously Magical Stitches has always been my number one because that's the one I joined first, and I really have a lot of fun with it. I really honestly think the only reason why I focus on that one so much is because it was the first one that I joined. But I would like to get back into Enchanted Stitching. I don't know why, honestly. I think I really just want to do the monthly tasks because I feel like it gives me some variety to my stitching. They usually have about 10 monthly tasks, and they're all pretty long, 800 stitches, 1,600 stitches. And so since I tend to focus more on those bigger goals, I think that's what I'd like to do, is get back into that a little bit. So they haven't come out with the June stuff yet. They announced the movie. I want to say it's Atlantis, but I'm not 100% sure. Sorry about that. There was someone at the door. Anyway, I have no idea what I was talking about because that's how it goes. So plans for June, get back into Enchanted Stitching. I don't really know. I'd like to catch up on my Whip Go goals. We'll see how that happens. Maybe what I can do is fit some of those Whip Go goals into those monthly goals or monthly tasks with Enchanted Stitching, as well as my monster stitching. I tend to use my model stitching as some of the yearly tasks for Magical Stitches, like building cabins and all of that stuff. So I have more model stitching. I'm only about halfway done with the one that I'm working on right now, and it needs to be done by like the end of next week. The end of this week, something like that. I'm going to keep working on Halloween Quaker because that's taking the place of Beauty and the Beast as a focus. I'm going to keep working on Marvel. That is one of the Whip Go ones called this month. So this month it was number 1, which is my Marvel Heroes, and my goal for that is a page finish. I think I've got about 4,000 stitches to go, 3,000 stitches to go till a page finish. So that shouldn't, if I do my stitching the way I'm supposed to be doing it, I should be able to get that. And then Consider the Lilies is my other Whip Go piece. And if you have been watching me for a couple of months, you'll know that I made a huge mistake on Consider the Lilies, and it's been put away. And I've kind of been itching to take it out and frog my mistake, because I really don't think my OCD will let me just fudge it. So I'm considering using it being called for Whip Go to frog those stitches. I think I've got about 1,000 stitches, if not more, to frog and restitch. So we'll see. So I put those on my plans for June. There were 2 Mania pieces that I did not get to because of my model stitching. And that was Castles in the Air by Long Dog Sampler and Wizard of Oz by Hade. So I'd like to pick those up in June because I really wanted to work on those in May, and it just didn't happen. So yeah, they're really loose plans right now. We'll see how it goes. My stitching has been all over the place lately. And now with Beauty and the Beast being done, while I think I might want to focus on Halloween Quaker, I don't really know that that's going to come to fruition. So we'll see. But yeah, that's, oh, haul. I didn't see, this is what I do. I get so into it that I forget. I mentioned how a lot of my pieces are huge. And so I've really been craving finishes. So I have been buying a lot of patterns. I'm embarrassed to even say how many. I'm not going to show them all this week. What I will show is that one of my rewards for finishing Whip Go and no new starts this year was that I wanted to start a Mirabilia and I wanted to start a Chatelaine. And I have been I went back to the beginning of Stitchin' Mommy's videos, and she's been FlossTubing for a really long time. I think she's on like FlossTube number 180 something. And so I don't know why I wanted to start at the beginning, but I think I was all caught up on FlossTube and I had nothing to watch, and she does a lot of full coverage. So I really wanted to go back and see, you know, some of her full coverage pieces from the beginning, some of the ones she had started, she had finished. And so I just started watching it, and I just watch, you know, I watch it while I dye yarn at work. I listen to it, I don't watch it. And it's something that I can put on the TV when the kids are home, that I don't really care if they come in and interrupt. And it's not like it's Supernatural where it's not really safe for them to come in. So, and she, in 2018 or 2017, I don't know which one, but she was working on Royal Holiday by Mirabilia. And so I said that my reward was a Mirabilia. And so I've been spending months searching out all the Mirabilias and all of the Chatelaines and trying to narrow down what I wanted, because both of them take a lot of beads and Krynics and specialty flosses. And so I wanted to make sure that when it was time for me to get my quote unquote reward, I was ready to start. I was about to say cast on, but that's a knitting term, but I was ready to start. It was all kitted up. And so I really wanted to make sure I did that. Well, Sarah at Stitchin' Mommy, I always want to call her Stitchin' Mama. I don't know why. She has all 5 of the queens of Mirabilia, the seasonal queens. She's finished 3 of them, and she has 2 more on the go, I think. And she has this thing where she rotates them out above her desk. And our study, which used to be my office when we first moved here before I moved my studio up to its own building, we kind of have it themed decorating wise around like what a Hogwarts office would look like. And I'm kind of Harry Pottered out. Don't tell anyone because I do a lot of Harry Potter stuff at work, but I'm kind of Harry Pottered out. And so originally when we thought that idea, I wanted to have someone paint a big portrait of Hogwarts and hang it in a fancy frame, like would be hung up in like Dumbledore's office or something. And I don't really want that anymore. So I've been thinking about things that I can put up that would still fit what we've done, because we have floor to ceiling bookcases with like a ladder. I have this beautiful French antique reproduction desk that my husband found for me, like is in the bad one. I must not tell lies lady. I can't even think of her name. That's in her desk or in her office. Umbridge, that's her name, Dolores Umbridge. Horrible lady, beautiful desk in her office. And so, and then we got these big overstuffed red leather armchairs from a, it used to be called Mid-South Marketplace, that's down the road for me. And it's basically used furniture, refinished furniture, stuff like that. We got a really good deal on 2 of them. So one is my desk chair and one is just an armchair in the corner. Anyway, like, you need to know how my office is decorated. I thought that it would be really fun to do the Mirabilia Queens because they're pretty, not old fashioned, but fancy. They're fancy ladies, right? And put them in some fancy frames and rotate them in the study like that instead of this big Hogwarts painting. So in 2017 or 2018, she finished Royal Holiday. And here it is. And at first I really wasn't a fan because I don't really like brown. And there's a lot of brown in this piece. But the more she stitched on it, the more I loved it. And I just decided that I needed to stitch on it. So I bought it. And then I started looking because I'm like, I can't do this on brown. And I started thinking, well, maybe I could do it on gray because my house is decorated in grays. But I thought that with all this white, trim, because she's basically wearing Santa's coat, I thought that it would clash. And so I started looking to see what other people had done. And I found one that was done on a piece of forest green hand-dyed fabric, and it is just stunning. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm honestly considering using my freebie in No New Starts. I get 11 model stitches free. And I think I've done like 6. But the back half of the year shouldn't be as heavy as the front half of the year for model stitches, thankfully. So I don't think I'm going to need that. So basically what I told them was that I thought I would do 1 model stitch a year for work. And so everybody gets 1 freebie. So they gave me 11 model stitches plus my 1 freebie, and I was going to have to use that freebie as a model stitch. But I think I'm going to use that as my freebie. I think I might cast on for it for my birthday in September. I still have a few months to think about it, but I might do that. And I probably have a lot of this floss, but I went ahead and just bought the ready-made kit from Everything Cross Stitch. And so there's the Krynic and there's the different beads in there. Yeah, there's a couple colors of Krynic, 3 kinds of beads, and just a lot of DMC. So yeah, there's that one. And then there is Winter Queen. And Summer Queen. And I just love the teals and blues, and those are just so my jam. If you can see behind me, like, I mean, teal and gray, that's basically my house. And then I found out that Autumn and Spring Queen are out of print. And that kind of ruined my Mirabilia Queen mojo. So I went on eBay and I found Autumn Queen. And she is just gorgeous. That bronze, I know I don't like brown, but that bronze that's in her dress, I just am totally digging. And then I also found Spring Queen. It hasn't arrived yet. It actually, it was really expensive. And I found one that was a lot less expensive, but I didn't realize till after I purchased it that it had to ship from Korea. So it's on its way. And I got that one too. And I don't really know what I'm gonna do because here I am saying I want small projects. Mirabilia Queens are huge. So I'm gonna start Royal Holiday probably for my birthday and maybe spend the rest of the year working on that one. And then after that, I don't know. I don't really wanna get 5 Mirabilia Queens on the go and have 5 more huge projects that are gonna take me years and years to finish. But I definitely know I wanna finish Royal Holiday because my husband is really into Christmas and so is my son. And so even if I had nothing else finished except for that one to put on the wall for Christmas, that would be pretty cool. So that's my haul for this week. Like I said, I bought a lot of patterns. Half of them I can't show you because they are PDFs and my printer decided to break. I mean, it broke like a month ago, but I finally tried to fix it. I thought it was just out of ink, but it's not. So as I get the printer fixed and can print out some of the pages of PDFs, I did a lot of owl forest embroidery because there's a lot of people doing owl forest embroidery for Mania. So I fell down hard at that shop, and I bought a lot of patterns, but I bought a couple of kits that are on their way, but they ship from Russia, so it's going to take a minute. Again, it's seasonal stuff. It's that monthly seasonal thing. And then I bought some little cottages that are only about that big, that are monthly cottages that I can put in a frame and kind of trade out. I'm thinking about putting them on my nightstand right there so I can just trade it out every month. Stuff like that. So I'll show them as they arrive, spread out, so you don't realize exactly how much stuff I bought because it was bad. It was bad. And Memphis Sarah E. and Sammy Liz and Bonnie at Pumpkin Creek Primitive, I hope I got that right, they are bad influences. Bonnie especially because she is an online shop. She has an Etsy shop, but Sam and Sarah are making me want to start all the things. And they're making me want to buy all the things. And they're not telling me I'm crazy when I tell them to tell me I'm crazy and not to buy it. So I'm going to put partial blame on them. I am. Okay. That's it. I hope you are having a good weekend. If you're in the United States, I hope you're having a good holiday weekend. And yeah, I got nothing left. I don't even know what to say to sign off. So I hope you get lots of stitching done. I hope you're enjoying yourself, and whatever you're doing, you're leading with love. Bye.